My name's Andrew. In this video I want to talk to you about how I overcame bipolar. It's it's been such a long time since I was able to overcome all the challenges of it, and so much so that I really have to think back really quite hard really to remember a lot of things. What it even felt like to some degree. I am such a different person to what I used to be when I had it. So I had all the depression, all the anxiety. Suicidal many times, had the mood swings. I was even diagnosed as having schizoaffective disorder as well at a certain point. And I did all the drugs, I did all the medications, and I became really large, actually, really fat. I mean, for me it was anyway. I was 105 kilograms. So, and you could really, I got, I'll have to find them, I've actually got photographs so you can see the transition of, when I went from being somewhat thin. I was always thin, and then I'd started putting on a bit of weight, a bit more, and then I got really fat, which doesn't help with the mental health at all, for a number of reasons. But I did that for a long time, and I was seeing a psychiatrist for about 10 years, doing all the medications, and she did what she thought was right, but it's not the way. It's the problem with it. There's a lot of problems with the way that we go about trying to heal ourselves of our mental anguish, that it's not really that much different to our actual physical body with our mind. So almost all disease in the body is inflammatory. So whether it's arthritis, it's inflammation, or things to do with the lungs, it's inflammation. If you have a look, pretty much just about every condition out there is inflammation in the body. And the way that general medicine will go about that is, well, here's some pills, and we'll deal with it that way. But you're treating the symptoms using those things, trying to get a cure through the symptoms, but that doesn't really get anywhere. You always got to get to the cause. So in terms of our mind, it's like, what's the inflammation of the mind? What's causing this aggravation to ourselves? And it's not just one thing. So obviously there's experiences we have. A lot of the time it's traumas and things like that, where that's often the driving thing that sort of then creates all these other moods and things like that come with that, and anxieties and all that sort of stuff. So we've got to get to that. That's definitely a part we've got to get to, and that's why we often see psychologists and psychiatrists to help us deal with that aspect. And look, that works for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. And I know, because I talk to a lot of people, and I just hear the same sort of stories. And I know we could say there's obviously different levels of psychologists and things, who's one's better than another. I don't disagree with that, and some work better than others, sure, and there's different methods again, and some of them are quite effective for people, so I don't dismiss that. And if you're doing something that's working for you, then well, that's really great. But there's other things to this. So things such as food, I didn't realise when I got better the importance of food as much as I do now. I had an inkling, and I started to take away things that I initially thought would be aggravating me in some way. I mean, for me personally, caffeine, coffee or tea or whatever it was, didn't help with my anxiety at all. I could actually have coffee now. I'm not really a big coffee drinker. I stopped doing that for many years, as a part of getting better, but I could go back to that now because I've dealt with a lot of the issues. So, but there's not just coffee, there's a lot of food. See, we're often taught too about this chemical imbalance. Let's call it a myth, let's call it what it is. It's been debunked many times, you can look that up for yourself. So that was, if you look at the real history of it, you'll find it was only a hypothesis so the pharmaceutical companies could sell more drugs. But there is an imbalance, and it's not happening so much in the brain as such. We do have an imbalance through our bodies, which is why we have these symptoms. So we've got to get to the causes of them. So we've got to start dealing with everything. It's a holistic approach to mental health, pretty much all health really, but specifically talking about the bipolar aspect, what I had. And so yeah, this is definitely the food aspect, and I was going to talk about that in relation to the chemical imbalance. So in our guts, we have these things called the microbiome, which is all the good gut bacteria in there, and that's really important for our well-being. So about 90% of your serotonin, the mood stabilizing neurotransmitter within us, comes from the gut. So you think about all the things we're eating, like even just tap water, chlorinated water, the chlorine's there to kill the bacteria in the water. But the thing is, If we just drink that straight from the tap and it comes straight down, well, now that chlorine's still in there. Now we're killing the gut bacteria too, but that's only one thing. We're eating like a lot of foods that have things in them. Even like if you're eating a lot of animal products, well, not even just eating animal products in general, even dairy, things like that. Antibiotics again, they're designed to kill things. You're eating that, it's coming through, and we've got problems, and I know this from experience now more than ever through, and not just my own personal experience, I've done a lot of research on this, and you're finding the same thing over and over again. When people change their diet, a lot of things change. And I'm not talking just specifically mental health here. It's physical health too, but I'll do some videos on that at a later stage. But what I want to say is that it's possible to turn things around. We have this belief, it's a belief system. I've been told by doctors so many times, you've got this thing, you'll never get better. Now I've proven wrong on many things, not just in my mental state, but also my physical body. As I said, I'm such a different person now. Before we didn't even do this video, I was thinking, gosh, I really have to think back to what it was like and how I overcame certain things. But one of the main things too, was I was talking about before about the traumas and things like that. Well, yes, there are aspects of that we need to deal with. Belief systems that we hold about ourselves and delving into that. And we do get somewhere sometimes with some of the methods such as CBT, with a psychologist, but it doesn't go far enough. And the reason it doesn't go far enough is it only looks for perhaps the way you're thinking about yourself, the belief systems, which I don't disagree with, but that's actually not the problem. It's actually the emotions. It's the emotional things that we have attached to those belief systems that now we have to find a way to release. So that's the core to this, and there is a way to do this. So it's a bit of work. In a sense, we've really got to become our own therapists, and we've got to take charge of our lives. We can't be the same person anymore. We've got to become a different version of ourselves. Because if you're just the same person turning up to the therapist office every week or however long you go, how often you go, you cannot be that person anymore. And you've got to stop trying to. A lot of people want diagnosis. They want this diagnosis, and really the diagnosis is just describing a bunch of symptoms. Okay. But we've got to get to the cause, and you're not those things anyway. You're not those things. You're experiencing those things. Okay. There is a difference, and it's a real problem that we keep turning up and telling our story again and again and again. It's like, okay, well, you've got to start taking charge. And I don't want to be this person anymore. I want to be a different version. I want to be a greater version of myself. And you can do it. You can do it. I've done it. I've done it. And I know other people in different areas have overcome what they said was impossible. So don't get caught into that nonsense about, you can't get better. Look, even if you didn't get totally better, you can certainly improve your life in different areas. There's no doubt about it. It's not you do one thing and it's all better within a week. No, it's a progressive thing. It is a progressive thing. But look, as I said, I am so different now. I don't have any of those problems. I haven't had them for like 5.5 years now. No medications, no symptoms. Nothing's come back. And I have gone through some pretty extreme times. Oh boy, have I ever. And I'll tell you, things that were even a tenth of what I've gone through when I was the old self, that would have just thrown me right over the edge for sure. But now I'm like, wow, I'm so different now. It's incredible, so peaceful. I have a sense of joy. And this is why I want to make these videos. I want to show people you can do this. You can overcome this stuff too, And I want to show what I know. Embrace what you can, take what you can. But going back to the therapist aspect, you need to become your own therapist. And I'm not saying that you don't, not to see a psychiatrist or psychologist or whoever you're seeing, do that. But really, my opinion, remember, it's my opinion, and you should never take anyone's word for anything, but, even what I'm saying. But, I'm essentially living proof. I've done it. I've done this thing. I've overcome it. But what I was going to say is that use these people as a guide. They should be a guide to help you, guide you through your own mind. I mean, they may have some really great opinions about things, and they might be right about what's right and what's going on for you. No doubt about it. There's going to be some experience there, and they're going to know some things. But there's a lot of things they're not going to know, and you're going to know them because they're inside you. Okay, and you need to draw forth whatever that is, so you can get better. So I'm going to leave this video here as an introduction. But look, I'm going to share many videos with you as I can. I actually wrote a book about this topic back in 2020, and I'll put a link to that if you're interested. It's called The Way Out is Through the Way In. So, and that's about how a lot of things I have done to overcome, well, not as overcome, but cured myself essentially of bipolar and all the mood things. So anyway, I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm certainly having a great day out here in paradise here. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't quite pick up the colour so well. It blows out a little bit. But anyway, I wish you all the very best. And if you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments below.